that we're wearing the same exact outfits from last week. Yes. And that's because it's only 2 minutes later for us.
Yes, this is part 2.
Yes, part 2. We're here with the Sinister Sisters podcast. I'm Felicia.
I'm Lauren.
We're best friends.
And we talk about scary movies.
And today, we're talking about the history behind Amityville Horror. If you didn't see our last episode, we talked about the history behind The Conjuring.
Yes.
And apparently it's Ghost Month here.
It's Ghost Month. At least for 2 episodes.
Yeah, for 2 episodes.
So I feel like this is maybe the most famous haunted house.
I would say 100%.
I don't know.
I can't think of another one.
I know. Did you know that it was on Long Island?
Yes, I actually have a subscriber that lives in Amityville.
Oh my god.
I am.
Well, we're moving there. It's only 30 miles outside of New York.
All right, we'll move there. Great.
Here we go. But this, okay, so it sort of started on November 13, 1974. This house was the scene of a mass murder. So it was by 23-year-old Ronald J. DeFeo Jr.
23-year-old?
Yeah. We'll get there.
Okay.
You're confused.
I'm confused.
But so he murdered his entire family while they were asleep, which included his parents and his 4 siblings.
Oh, God. So rude.
The story that most media, books, movies, everything else focus on, documentaries. I haven't watched a ton of the documentaries. I watched one, and it's very interesting, and now I want to look into more because I feel like they're sort of spun in different ways.
Oh, interesting.
But anyway, so most of that media focuses on the Lutz family, who purchased the house 13 months later.
Yes. Okay.
So
I'm with you.
Yes.
Correct.
But I'm going to talk about the DeFeos a little bit because it's very interesting.
Yeah, please.
So DeFeo entered a bar in Amityville and declared, "You got to help me. I think my mother and father are shot." So a group of people came back with him from the bar, found his family dead, called the police. 2 of his sisters, so the people that were dead.
So the
shooter
went
goes to a bar
and
says,
"Help,
"Help, my
dead."
family is dead." People come with him.
Oh my god.
And then we begin. So 2 of his 2 sisters were 18, 13, and his 2 little brothers were 12 and 9. Very, very sad. So all the victims had been shot with a rifle around 3 a.m. The parents each shot twice, and the children each single shots. Damn. Somehow it's like creepy that it was also like that exact.
Yeah.
So because of the Italian last name, people, which I didn't even really think about DeFeo as being Italian.
Me either.
Whatever. I should know. But people thought it might be a mob-related murder.
Whoa.
But that was quickly proven untrue. DeFeo claimed that he killed his family in self-defense because he heard their voices plotting against him.
Oh no, is it schizophrenic or something?
I guess. But he pled insanity, but the judge ruled that he was aware of his actions at the time.
Oh no.
And sentenced him to 6 concurrent sentences of 25 years to life.
Is he alive?
Yes. He's currently in prison.
Wow.
But all of his appeals have been denied, so hopefully dying in prison.
Yeah.
So some spooky facts about this murder, about these murders. Facts. So all 6 victims were found face down in their beds with no sign of struggle.
That's
even
weird.
Though those who would have...
I think I've heard this before.
Yeah, it's really
weird.
That's one of my, I can't figure out how this would have happened without a second killer, because it's like, as soon as you shoot the first 2 people...
Wouldn't everyone
else would have heard.
Yeah.
And tried to escape.
Or hide, or
But there's no evidence of, a sound suppressor on the rifle, no evidence of, sedatives being administered.
Oh,
Creepy.
I guess that would be a good theory, but I guess not true.
But I guess they didn't find it in their bodies. No neighbors heard gunshots. I know. Only one neighbor heard the family dog barking, but no gunshots.
So what does he say about it? The shooter? Nothing?
Nothing, seemingly.
Does he say he didn't do it?
I mean, I don't know how the judge didn't say, Oh. Should we pause? So, I don't know, is the answer. But I feel like the judge would look into it, but apparently not.
Weird.
So originally they thought there might be the possibility of more than one shooter, which is the only way that I can make sense in my head.
Yeah.
So there's a theory. Do I get to this later?
I'm also how many kids were in each room?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have weird questions.
It's weird.
Okay.
The other thing is there's really no one really had a motive that they could find for him. He supposedly had a volatile relationship with his father.
Okay.
But and there's some stuff about maybe the father was abusive to the mother. He was very close with his mother.
Well, how did he kill his mother? Okay.
Killed his mother too. So Oh, he also, like, apparently asked the police on the scene of the crime, like, how to get life insurance for these deaths.
Okay, don't do
also
that.
Weird, bad. But since his conviction, DeFeo has given several varying accounts on the killings, which I think is so interesting.
Are there, like, interviews I could watch with him?
In a 1986 interview for Newsday, he claimed his sister, Dawn, killed their father, and their distraught mother killed all of his siblings before he killed his mother. So, like, Dawn shoots the father.
But wouldn't there be struggle? Like, wouldn't there be
know.
stuff everywhere, or blood everywhere, like...
It doesn't make sense.
That's so
all of
weird.
It doesn't make sense.
Before nanny cams.
But he didn't want to tell this story in court because he didn't want his mother's father or his mother's brother to kill him, which also doesn't really make sense. Like, if you're going to jail, like, you say the truth.
Yeah. Jeez.
But anyway, and then also in this interview, oh, this is good too. Also in this interview, he claimed he was married to a woman named Geraldine Gates, who was living in New Jersey, and that his mother called him and said, like, you gotta come home. And then he came home to break up the fight between his father and Dawn. I don't know.
Seems like a mentally ill person.
Yeah. So there's, like Geraldine Gates said they weren't married at the time. Like, there's a lot of shenanigans that I won't go into. And then in 1990, so that interview was 1986. And then in 1990, he told a version where Dawn shot the whole family before he killed Dawn.
This is a great mix for me because I love true crime and paranormal.
Yeah.
You're really giving me both.
This is a lot of true crime.
I love it.
But I think the theory I like the best is that him and Dawn went in together, said, we're going to kill everyone for some reason.
And get life insurance or something?
Get life insurance, and then right at the end, he turns on Dawn. That's the only way that I can make it sense, because it's
Dawn?
like his sister.
Oh, sorry. For a second, I thought Dawn was the fake wife.
But then I'm like, I don't know why he would want to carry her and put her back in bed.
Yeah, that's really weird.
It really freaks me out that they were all in their beds. Are there crime scene photos? Probably.
We don't need to look right now. I'll look later.
You can look on your own
my
time.
own time.
So, needless to say, the Lutz family, who is, most of the Amityville stuff is based on, they purchased the home at a drastically reduced price, just like
Classic. If the house is too good to be true, the house is too good to be true.
Leave. But they only lasted in the house 28 days before leaving it.
28 days.
And they knew about everything beforehand.
I also haven't seen the Amityville Horror in so long that this is going to feel really new to me.
It's great. It was
many, many years.
Very 70s. So some of the supernatural claims that they say they experienced. So George is I think he's the stepfather, actually. Which just somehow, like, makes it more interesting. But so
Is he a stepfather?
I don't know. Then I'm like, why is he the stepfather? I don't know. I might have just made that up.
Okay.
But he says he woke up at 3:15 a.m. every morning, which is the time of the murders. The house was plagued by swarms of flies. Classic. Even though it was winter at the time. George discovered a small hidden room behind shelving in the basement. The walls were red, and it did not appear in the blueprints of the house. It became known as the Red Room. Remember that? But the dog wouldn't go near it, and it's creepy. I don't know.
It's creepy.
I don't really know why that has anything to do with anything, because, like, none of the murders happened there.
But maybe, I don't know how old the house was. Maybe something else previously before the first family. I don't know.
And then DeFeo was, influenced by that. The family claimed to smell strange odors. There was supposedly green slime oozing out of the walls and keyholes.
What?
I know. They took that out of any movie version.
Oh, there was actually something about that in the Conjuring one where it said, the parent family said there was this, like, yellow slime stuff that would, like, be on the wall and then disappear into the wall. Why? Or something.
That feels, like, crazy to me.
I don't know.
Green slime? I'm, like, imagining Nickelodeon slime, to be clear.
No.
They also experienced cold spots in certain areas of the house. A priest came to bless the house at some point, and he allegedly heard a voice scream, "Get out." Unclear.
Did he listen?
Well, so there are times that this priest says he never was in the house. Like, that he only was on a phone call with the family.
Weird. And
that he never actually was there. And then there are times that he says he was there.
Things are so poorly recorded in the 70s.
So poorly recorded. The 5-year-old daughter developed an imaginary friend named Jody. I remember this from the movie.
Yeah.
Who was a demonic pig-like creature. with glowing red eyes.
My worst nightmare?
Yep.
Okay.
George supposedly saw Jody through a window, like, behind Missy. Like, he looked up at the window and saw Jody behind her. And then when he came upstairs... Hello?
Toby.
When he came upstairs, Missy was asleep in bed, and obviously Jody was not there.
Yeah.
Creepy. Oh, but the rocking chair was rocking back and forth.
That's in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, I think that's in the movie. And then, this is the other thing that I'm like, what? George would hear what sounded like a marching band tuning up downstairs, and then when he would go downstairs, the noise would cease.
Seems unrelated.
I'm like, why throw that in? If you're making stuff up, like, why throw that in?
A little weird.
While in bed, Kathy, the mom, received red welts on her chest and levitated out of bed. Locks, doors, and windows in the house were damaged by an unseen force.
Can you imagine waking up and you're floating above your bed?
No.
And then you fall down and you're just like, how do you explain to yourself what happened?
I don't know. I think anything where, like, you are touched is way too creepy.
Scary.
So, all those things. Oh, this is actually the scariest thing to me. None of them were supposedly stomach sleepers, and they all began to sleep on their stomachs, which is where the position that the victims all died in, which is creepy to me. And then the classic, a 12-inch crucifix hung in the living room, revolved until it was upside down and gave off a sour smell.
Sour smell. That's what I can't get behind. I'm interested in the hauntings. I don't want any sour smells. Or any
You would
smells.
like a ghost that smelled normal?
Just no smell. Not interested in the smells.
That'll be fine for me.
Yeah.
Anything can smell to me.
Lauren can't smell. If you haven't heard that before this podcast, no sense of smell.
So, here's where we get into the fascinating part for Lauren.
Just spooka.
Where none of this is real. So
Lauren thinks.
Ronald DeFeo from the first story, his attorney, William Weber, claims that George and Kathy Lutz approached him about an idea for a book and said, we created this horror story over many bottles of wine. It is a hoax. He has since brought a lawsuit against the Lutzes for taking the story that they kind of made together to a different publishing partner. What? And they settled out of court for $17,500.
No, this is the biggest bummer I've ever heard in my whole life.
I mean, who knows? Who knows?
But the lawyer said this.
The lawyer.
The family is, like, not saying. The family's like, you're crazy.
This family's saying, you're crazy. It's fascinating. But then the other thing is that one of the sons made a documentary where he says he's been plagued by all this stuff that happened and that he felt it was real and, like, still has...
I want to see that.
Yeah, you should watch.
First-hand account.
So, what is this? Was published in... Oh, yeah, so the first book that was published was The Amityville Horror, which was published in 1977 by Jay Anson, and it's the basis for the film in 1979 and onward.
The film was in 1979? Yeah. That seems really fast.
Yeah.
This happened in 74?
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty fast turnaround for Hollywood.
Right? They were like, this is a great story.
Yeah.
So the book claims that the Shinnecock Indians resided in Amityville, and they were nowhere near there. All the Indians on Long Island were part of a different nation.
That's so Stephen King, like something spooky Indian burial ground?
Literally, Indian burial ground. But a lot of places say that this is like the first time that was used, but I don't know if that's true.
Oh, interesting. Maybe.
I don't know. But it was a different Indian tribe that was there. The book claims that this address was an Indian sanitarium where the mad and dying would be left exposed to the elements to die, and there's no record of that. And actually, like, apparently Native Americans are, like, known for taking care of their sick and dying.
That sounds like the opposite of Native Americans. Native Americans are like, no, we take care of each other and are good people.
Yeah.
It seems like a super, like, white person thing to do.
Exactly. Like, one of these...
sanitarium.
Wherever I was looking at this said that, like, European settlers taught Native Americans, like, how to take care of their sick and dying. So, like, no.
It's the worst.
There was no sanitarium.
The worst.
And then another one of the claims is that a witch named John Ketchum. It's like too many things. Yeah. Indian burial ground and witches.
Seems like a lot for Long Island.
But so his name was John Ketchum. He escaped from Salem during the witch trials and built his house on the Amityville house. He did come from Ipswich, Massachusetts. Not the same as Salem.
Okay.
But settled in Ipswich. I don't know. but settled in Huntington Township on Long Island, which is a full 10 miles away from Amityville.
Oh, okay.
And the Ketchum family has no info that John was a witch. So that's sort of my telling of this. I feel like, I don't know. It seems a little crazy.
What was the so the family that moved in afterwards? Mm-hmm. They found the red room, the Lutzes. Was wasn't it that the dad was like targeted or no?
It doesn't seem like it. It seems like the movie made that stretch.
Okay, that's what I was curious
It seems much more like stuff was just happening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And they made it much more like... Because
you don't get the vibe, like from the research I did at least, you don't get the vibe that like he was being told to kill them.
That's what like I thought I remembered from the movie.
Me too.
That it was like, I thought I remembered the dad like with the shotgun.
Right. I
really haven't seen that movie in so long.
And trying to like recreate what
that's what I thought was like the story.
I know, but it doesn't seem like...
That's just like Hollywood.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I should look into more about
no
like,
one said Bathsheba was a witch except for like random people in the towns.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I don't think anything like this talks about George.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I think it's also like, yeah, Hollywood's just got to make the plot work.
Yeah. And I think it's sort of like I don't know, it kind of reminds me of The Shining too, where it's like remembering like what had happened and feeling like you have to carry that out, but that really didn't happen. It's crazy to me that they only lasted 28 days though. That also feels like a little...
It's also interesting that they only lasted 28 days and the Perron family lasted 10 years.
Yeah.
It's like, I would be a 28-dayer.
Me too, but then I'm also like, if they were just in it to make money, like why... I don't know. I guess they found out about the murders and then were like, this would be a great move.
I also am like, if the son is like, in his adult life made a documentary being like, this really messed me up.
He wants money.
Oh. I was going to say the opposite.
Oh.
I was going to say like...
I was going to say he's gotten to this point in his life. He needs a little money. He's like, remember that cool thing that happened to me?
Like child actors.
Yeah. I'm going to remember, everything that my parents told me they lied about.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Maybe. And it's funny because it's like sort of the opposite with the Perron family where they were just like...
Right.
They're like, yeah, it was really crazy and horrible sometimes and also kind of nice sometimes and we don't really want to talk about it all the time.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay.
That's why I'm like, I mean, I don't know, but like seemingly there's so many, like George Lutz talks a lot.
Oh,
At least in the documentaries I've watched, he talks a lot.
Like, too much?
The crazy thing is that it was, like, I really didn't cover this, but, like, the documentary that I watched talked about, like, what a media sensation it was. Mm-hmm. Like, so Ed and Lorraine Warren obviously got involved. There also was, like, apparently a seance with, like, a bunch of reporters and Ed and Lorraine Warren after they left.
Oh, that's what bugs me about the Warrens.
Yeah.
It's like, because it does come up that they were just, like... They just wanted fame and money, and so they just faked everything. But then part of me wants to be like, I want to believe that like they were really do-gooders trying to help people. But then it's like stuff like that where it's like if you're gonna have a seance with the reporters, you're putting on a show. Well,
there's one woman in the documentary that's like, it was a terrible idea. There were like 30 people. It was like an awful place to try to have a seance. Like no one experienced anything because there were just too many people.
Yeah.
She said, like, she herself, this reporter, was like, somebody would be like, ooh, do you feel that cold spot? And she'd be like, no.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's another thing, too. It's like, if they were putting on a show, wouldn't they have put on a show for all those reporters? And if no one felt anything, maybe they weren't putting on a show.
But it's like the family doesn't feel like they were involved at that point, which is weird.
Oh, I mean the Warrens.
Oh, yeah, the Warrens.
The Warrens putting on a show.
I
don't know.
I know.
It's hard to know.
It's hard to know, but I don't know. And now it's like, I don't know. I haven't done enough research, but like, I don't think anyone has experienced anything since. Or if they have, like,
the house
it's been way underplayed.
Ew, we should like do a drive-by of the house someday.
Oh, we're so close. I thought about it.
Yeah, it's so close to us. I wonder who lives there now.
I know.
I wonder if they're also paranormal enthusiasts.
They've got to be, right?
Because I feel like that happens now,
Well, I'm sure it like goes up in price now. The house.
Yeah, exactly. It's like super haunted, and they're just like moving to this super haunted house.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it is interesting to think about.
Yeah.
But it's good. I feel like the other thing about the movies that I always forget is like no one died. after.
That is a good point.
Right? Which is true of The Conjuring, too.
Yeah,
really.
the family all lives. They just experience all these things.
Which also makes me be like, just trying to get that money, honey.
I don't know. But this is fun for me. I don't know. Let us know if you like this format of talking about the real stories behind movies.
Yes.
Behind horror movies.
We like it.
We like it, but let us know if you do. Or if you have requests for us to do episodes on specific movies that have some real life inspiration.
Yeah.
But I guess that's it.
I think that's it.
Our pasta's here, so we're going to eat it.
We're going to eat that pasta.
All right. Have some sweet, sweet nightmares, and have an ice cream.
Bye.